Hello. I keep doing that. This is the book one for August 2020. Since I've been going to two books, I can keep track of because the months, the weeks, the days are moving so quickly. The Negro President by Gary Wills. Really great book. And we're dealing with the counting of slaves in the 1800 election and black voting, basically what we're dealing with. It is often said that the three-fifths ratio was adopted under the Articles of Confederation. Clinton Rossiter even claimed that the ratio was a legacy from the Congress of 1783. That is not true. It was an amendment that never passed, but the ratio had been voted on by a congressional majority, so the number came into the Constitutional Convention with an air, however spurious, of precedent, though it was about to be put to an entirely different use for fixing representation, not taxation. The original Virginia plan for the Constitution submitted to the convention on May 29th may not use the three-fifths formula for representation. It said that the national legislature ought to be proportioned to the quotas of contribution or to the number of free inhabitants, as the one or the other rule may seem best in cases. Madison, however, moved the very next day to remove the term free inhabitants. Hamilton moved to retain it, and Delaware said that it was not authorized to change the rule of representation. The convention tabled the matter as a hot potato. On June 11th, Roger Sherman of Connecticut tried to return to the representation of free inhabitants alone, but two of the men from South Carolina, Pierce Butler and John Rutledge, objected. At this point, seeking compromise, James Wilson introduced the three-fifths count, a concept Charles Pinckney had been lobbying for. Predictably, some Northern delegates opposed counting the slaves at all, while some Southerners wanted to count them fully. But the South definitely switched its emphasis from taxation and productivity arguments, those used in the Articles debate, to a new concern, a balance of representation between the North and the South. Under the Articles, the North outnumbered the South by 8 states to 5, but a majority of 9 was required for most important matters, and unanimity for any amendment, Articles 13, so that the South had a veto on matters that challenged its vital interests. Under the Constitution taking shape, however, that would no longer be the case. The South had to fear an edge given to the North, both in terms of the unit vote in the Senate and the popular vote in the House, since 60% of the white population was in the North. Counting slaves fully would have made the two regions roughly equal. Counting them as three-fifths would give the South, which only had 41% of the white population, 47% of the delegates in the House of Representatives. Madison made regional balance the central concern of representation, subordinating other concerns that are usually given more attention, ergo, the division between large states and small ones. The great danger to our general government is the great northern and southern interests of the continent being opposed to each other. Look to the votes in Congress, and most of them stand divided by the geography of the country, not according to the size of the states. The states were divided into different interests not by their difference of size, but by other circumstances, and most material of which consulted partly from climate, but principally from the effects of their having or not having slaves. These two causes conquered in forming the great division of interest in the United States. It did not lie between the large and small states. It lay between the northern and southern, and if any defense power were necessary, it ought to be mutually given to these two interests. Mr. Madison said that having always conceived that the difference of interest in the United States lay not between the large and small, but the northern and southern states, Even an equal vote of the state in the Senate should be rejected, he argued, because of the perpetuity it would give to the preponderance of the northern against the southern states. Scale was a serious consideration. It seemed now to be pretty well understood that the real difference of interest lay not between the large and small states, but between northern and southern states. So, as you see, black bodies were always a bargaining chip, still are a bargaining chip. So, when you look to the election and you look to national policies, what's at the center of national policy? Right now, should police be allowed to brutalize blacks or not? Should blacks be allowed to be used as slaves in prisons or not? Should black people have resources or not? Whether that's jobs, which the jobs don't exist. Uh, does it come through a welfare program? Does it come through a universal basic income? Should blacks be allowed to have that? That's always the case. And I truly believe that the thing holding up the UBI is that a lot of people in this country just don't want black people to have the money, whether it's $1,000 or $1,200 or $2,000. So black the issue of black development and the black body and the black mind has always been at the center of the US's existence. And depending on what we do determines where this society goes. And we'll see. We'll see how many first black people understand that and what they do with that understanding. I appreciate your help, your support. Until next time, take care of your mind, take care of your body, and be safe, please.